Okay, so what I've done here is I traced out my line using the level to plane across the valleys of the wall, and then I measured out my 10 inches from there, continued it up, measured the length of each piece, short to short, and made my angles according to a 10-inch spacing off of the valley of the steel. So I should have a 10-inch deep cavity that I can put insulation in all the way around. So now I'm going to attach some boards out on the foam here to attach the walls to. So setting up this first arch jig here on the wall was more about finding out the angles, making sure everything butted up nicely and fit. It took me a lot longer than I'd like to admit to build this jig. There was a lot of back and forth. I did end up changing the design once as well. These sheets on the ground here are just the flooring I have for the loft eventually. Set up my chop saw after I had all my lengths exactly as I wanted. Then I butt them up so that I had a stop. That way all the pieces ended up the same. Okay, after a bunch of screwing around, we have a jig. And it works pretty slick. So we slide our boards in. Like so. And we put our gussets in place. And all the rest of the boards go in. Another gusset here, board, another gusset, and then we put our top piece in, and then I flip the arch over onto that side with the top piece in there, and then we build another second half, and then that's how we build the arch. First couple of arches were quite a bit slower, just trying to figure out exactly which pieces were where. The two middle pieces were pretty close in length, and the angles were really close as well. Eventually you get it kind of figured out. Building these arches was a real test for this DeWalt electric nailer. On the lower setting, it didn't quite set the nails in as far as I'd like at the speed I was nailing. The heads were sticking out, which I mean it probably wouldn't have really mattered, but just had them hammered in after the fact so that it was nice and smooth on the ends. All of these plywood gussets are just leftover plywood I had that were cut into a 6-inch by 24-inch piece. I didn't really have any idea how many nails to put in there, but I put just too many on each one. The nails I ended up using here were 2 3/8 long, which actually worked out really well. They had just enough length that you could nail through the 1/2-inch gusset on one side, through the 1.5 2x4, and then you'd have just the tip would catch the back part of the gusset. I ended up nailing these gussets from both sides, but this way it could hold them in place at least until we had the arches installed and I could nail them both sides. Standing alone, these arches are not very stable. You can see they flex and bend quite a bit, but once I got them all blocked together, they actually held pretty good. Also having the ends attached helps a bunch. It actually took me a really long time to figure out what I was going to do to hold up my insulation here and have my inside ceiling materials supported. In this part of Canada here, we actually get a fair amount of snow load in the winter, and I didn't really like the idea of adding more weight to the inside of the building with the snow load. So I wanted these arches to be freestanding on the inside, not adding any more load to the structure. So this is completely separate of the metal. For those of you who actually still watch my videos on the regular, do you like this format? Is it entertaining enough for you to watch? I've just been doing this because it's been the easiest thing for me to get some work done and then also be able to have some footage to show what I'm doing here. I do plan on doing some better editing or more better quality videos in the future. It's just a lot of this stuff came down to a time crunch. When you only have, 3 days on the weekend to work on this stuff, you want to get as much done as you can, so. Nice to have a little lunch break there with the girls. We got 12 more arches. To add to the one that's up there temporarily. Next week we'll put it all together.